everyone, and welcome back to the Maze. It's been a little bit of time, but that's life. We do the best we can, and we hope that you're sticking with us and that you are checking this out. This is episode number 34. So let's jump right in. What's playing right now? Our Kingdom of Keshnar game last played 2 weeks ago tomorrow, so Friday, August the 3rd. We had a great time. The players are in up over their eyeballs like usual, but they are having a blast with it, and so am I. So we will post some photos from the games up for you guys to take a look at over on our website. The Master and Apprentice game we played this past Monday. So we had a great time. I introduced a new character to the game. The Mistress of Mazes joined us as a cleric to Joaquin, and she is having a great time with it. She's playing a Twilight Domain cleric. Something she hadn't tried before, but she saw it. She kind of read through it and was really excited about it. So we'll have a few screenshots that we'll post up next session for you guys because I don't believe we took any of this last session.
Yeah, there is the
The
whole recap is up though of that last session. It's
yeah,
already up.
there you go. Recap is up. So head over to our website. We'll have a link in the show notes for you guys to check that out. Again, written from the perspective of Aldor, which is Steven's character. We've got the Order of the Flagon. That we played this past Sunday. They're getting a little more regular with their game session. So we played this past Sunday. We had a 4-hour session, and we're going to play again on most likely the 22nd right now. I think we're waiting for one person to confirm, but it looks like we will be playing not this weekend, but next weekend. So be on the lookout for some photos from that. We'll take some photos at the table and photos of the miniatures and stuff as we play. But let's get into some news about our YouTube channel just real quick. And I'm throwing Steven a curveball because I didn't tell him I was going to do this. I just thought about it. We just posted up a couple of short videos. We split one into two parts of opening the D&D Questers, which come in these amazing little D&D things. No, the numbers do not come colored in like this. My wife did that with ink. But they come in these little D20 plastic cases. They are blind opens. But when you open them up, you get a small miniature in it that's basically geared towards kids, so they're kind of cute if you haven't seen them already. They come with a little card for the creature that you get inside, as well as a kind of a card for the DM to figure out how to plug them into the game. It's kind of meant as a bridge to bring kids into it using monsters who are kind of cute and don't look so ferocious and nasty to get them at the table to play D&D. So I think it's a great little entryway for them. We also have a unboxing of the Mighty Tarask. I finally picked that bad boy up, so we got that unboxing up for you guys to look at over on YouTube as well. So we'll have those links down in the show notes for you. But let's jump into some TTRPG news. Last weekend was Gen Con, and oh boy, did we get a lot. I mean, a lot of information.
It was a big Gen Con.
It was a big Gen Con, especially with a lot of information dropping about things that are on the horizon starting third quarter, according to Mr. Dan Ayub, who kind of headed up this news panel that they had at Gen Con. So let's jump right into it. Steven, you want to start us off with the World of Warcraft book coming for Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah, they are doing basically a player's guide or manual to help you bring the world of Azeroth or World of Warcraft if you've never played to D&D. To me, those worlds have kind of always been very parallel. They're very similar.
Yeah.
I'm well, not anymore, but I was a WoW player back when the game was, before they called it WoW Classic and it was just the game. I played all the way up to and through the Wrath of the Lich King, a little bit into Cataclysm, and then that's kind of where I waned off and played other things. But I like WoW a lot. I think the world's fun, and I think this kind of just lines right up if you're a WoW fan really, and you're a tabletop player. This is kind of a home run. I think for most folks, everyone kind of has their favorite setting, so this probably isn't for everybody. But I do think it's kind of an easy switch if you want to try it. There's a lot of cool stuff in the WoW setting, so.
There is, and it's an easy grab if a new player or somebody who's a current player at your table is like, I really want to bring over a character concept from WoW and play them at the table. You could, portals, right? I mean, there's portals. There's all this interdimensional travel, interplanar travel in D&D. A portal can open up, and the person is brought into the world of Faerun or the world of Greyhawk or the world of Krynn, and you can play them. This book is going to help you do that. I think it's great from an old school D&D guy side of the table that this could bring people from the WoW tables at the game store, the ones that only want to play World of Warcraft and things like that, and possibly bring them over to play some D&D. You know, this could be kind of like an entryway thing for them. I think it's great. Um, I don't know that I'll pick up the book, but it might be fun to kind of watch some play with it in there. So we'll check it out. We'll give it a
I
chance.
I think it's just one of
Um,
those things that is like a no-brainer to just do because it's an easy print, it's digestible for people that are D&D fans, but also it might
yeah,
bring new players in, which is, I mean, like you said
absolutely.
with the thing about, the questy boxes, having kids kind of get into it. This is another
Yep.
example of like, people that play WoW have probably heard of D&D. They've watched Stranger Things. That's pretty much all they know. So like having something
Right.
that is like a crossover or like a bridge content is just that's more of what
It,
I want to see.
yeah. It might be what gets them to the table, and then once they see the mechanics and how the world runs, how the game runs,
Hmm.
they may become interested and become a fan, which I think is
Yeah,
great. If you only net 5% of those people, there's a lot of people that play World of
hundred
Warcraft.
percent.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Now the next one, Star Wars in a D&D setting? Question mark. Uh,
What
I don't know how this is going to work, honestly.
does
I
Star Wars
mean,
have their own tabletop game? Like they do, right? They
they
have
do.
to.
They've had their own tabletop game for years. I actually have a copy of one from like the late '80s, early '90s
Hmm.
that we played a few times, but the game mechanics were pretty wonky.
Yeah.
If you think that the rules for D&D 5e are crunchy, you should see Star Wars rules. So I think it's a good thing to bring Star Wars players and sci-fi people into the hobby. It's a great way to do it. I personally think they missed an opportunity to bring back Star Frontiers.
I was gonna say, I
I don't
mean,
know how
Star
much
Frontiers, and I mean, there's already Starfinder, and there's already like
there's
this,
Starfinder and all that, but Star Frontiers has not been around since the '90s.
and it was their own
That
property
was
too. So like,
it
why
was it
not?
was TSR's
Yeah.
property. I'm pretty sure it's still owned by WizKids. They haven't done anything with it. Um, I think it would be a great opportunity to reintroduce that box set. That
Yeah.
box set was you had basically Star Frontiers, the role playing game.
Hmm.
Then you had Star Frontiers where you could get on ships and fight everything from fighters all the way up to giant capital ships.
Yeah.
And you had enemy races that you fought against and things like that. I thought it was an amazing game. It was a lot of fun. The rules were fairly easy to pick up. That to me would be a better fit for the Star Wars universe than Dungeons and Dragons. But I'm not in charge, so
Yeah, it definitely
um,
seems like a shoehorn, pick me kind of deal. I mean, I get it. Star Wars is a big IP, so is D&D, but like, I don't
yep.
know. It's like the Star Wars fans, I think, would appreciate like a better constructed or more elegantly done sci-fi
a, a
system.
science fiction section so that there's not this jarring taking you out of the game by having you in a medieval fantasy setting with magic. I'm a Jedi and I'm on my spaceship. Well, my spaceship crashes on Faerun and I don't have fuel to refuel it.
Hmm.
So I guess I'm just walking everywhere I go now. I mean, there's some fun there. I'm guessing. I don't know. But again, I want to think of it as a way to bring people from the Star Wars side of things into the D&D house and introduce them to the game. It's a great way to do it. So we'll see. The one that has me the most excited is Dark Sun. We've talked about Dark Sun on this podcast before, back before Dan Ayub came on. Basically, people had asked the heads of WotC and the people at Hasbro, what about the Dark Sun campaign setting? Are we going to see anything for that? And, you know, not quoting verbatim, I don't remember the exact quote, but I know the words that they used were problematic. The
Hmm.
setting was problematic. The game was problematic. There was slavery in it. I mean, Christ, there's slavery in Faerun.
I was about to say, I
Um,
mean, these people have never seen Game of Thrones, I guess.
apparently. So I think it's awesome they brought it back. I think it's awesome that the trailer that they showed, it's bloody, it's brutal, it
Hmm.
feels like Dark Sun.
Hmm.
I think it's great that they're bringing the setting back. It gives a post-apocalyptic low magic setting, makes it available for people that have played before or for new players that
Hmm.
maybe want to try something new. I personally think it's a great way to introduce a darker setting with some new options for characters and stuff to people. So I am super excited about Dark Sun coming out.
Yeah, it's like
Anything
a
Dark Sun related, I'll pick it up.
yeah, it's like I think in my opinion, it's like the best move they could have made to distinguish themselves
Yeah,
from the other TTRPGs because like
yeah,
Daggerheart is high fantasy. I don't want to say soft, but it is like a high fantasy, more lighthearted. I mean, now with the new content that's coming forward with vampires and stuff, maybe not. But I mean, none of the settings have a setting as brutal and as dark as Dark Sun. Like no other TTRPG, even Pathfinder, other than maybe some third party content, comes close to even the trailer that we got for Dark Sun. I mean, it was a brutal. It felt like Conan. It felt like just rough, brutal world, and like that to me already sets Dark Sun apart from like anything that Daggerheart or Darrington Press is doing, anything that Paizo's doing. It's not ever going to be as big as some of the more like cookie cutter settings that are just like, oh, there's something for everybody. This is definitely for a smaller demographic of people. But I happen to be in that demographic of people, so I am very excited about it.
And I have to think, if of all the offerings that they offered up at Gen Con, the Star Wars setting, the World of Warcraft, and the others that we'll get into here shortly, Dark Sun is the one to me that is the best fit because it is an old TSR product. I think it's a great fit. It is brutal. It is bloody. It is very gritty and dark, and that's great. I think it has very much that Hyboria feel to it, like the Conan, like you talked about.
Yeah, Steven. It's very, very Conan.
Very low magic, and then you have monsters, but you don't really have a lot of like magnificent monsters. Like dragons are almost unheard of, and dragons are very special in Dark Sun. If you're not familiar with that, pick up the book. You're going to be surprised. But steel. You don't have a lot of steel weapons because steel's was lost. The art of creating steel's gone. So you have mostly like bone weapons, wood weapons, stone weapons. And it's almost like this primitive setting. So it's I think it's a lot of fun. The books that they put out in the Dark Sun setting back in the day in like the 80s and early 90s were great. I'm excited for it. So the next thing we want to talk about, and I'm going to credit Dan Ayub with most all of these things because it seems like there's been a 180 turning of the ship since Dan Ayub came on. So I'm going to credit Dan with most of this. If I'm wrong, hey, Dan, reach out to us, let me know. But we have the new D&D Icons initiative where they are bringing back legendary creators. We already kind of knew this when we saw the picture of Dan and Joe Magniella.
They've been hinting at it for a while.
Margaret Weis, Tracy Hickman. They were all at WotC headquarters in Washington State. I think we knew this was coming, but it's official. They're coming back. They're heading up Dragonlance. I think Joe is going to be like doing some designing and some creative stuff, which is awesome. R.A. Salvatore was brought out on stage, so he's going to be back, and he's going to be working on some things. So that means we'll probably see some more of Driss. But I think it's great that they're bringing back a lot of the old school people that help breathe life into these worlds. So I'm excited to see where this initiative goes. So what are your thoughts on it, Steve?
I mean, I grew up around. I feel like R.A. Salvatore was a name that I knew before I even knew who that person was. Just seeing that name on every book and all over the place. This whole initiative that Dan Ayub has headed up and bringing back these heavy hitters, to me, it's almost like the D&D space is hitting its Spider-Man No Way Home plot point where like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and all these people came out and it was like this nostalgia trip, but also like this very cool like climactic thing. That's what D&D feels like it happened at Gen Con. Like all these people that like haven't been like at the forefront of D&D for a long time. There's been some strained relationships. They're not contributing as much as they were, and now all of them are like collaboratively working on this setting. And Dark Sun's part of it. Like it just seems like the whole family's talking again, and it's a family reunion. Which that's like the feeling I couldn't get over. It just felt like the Avengers assembling. It felt like this is just the first sign of like life in terms of like D&D from a year ago to now. It's like it's unbelievable how much has changed and how much has happened.
How much there's like, been just a shift, a paradigm shift.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And like how they interact with the community, everything.
Yeah, it's completely different. And like the meme at first, like I said before, was like in Dan we trust, because like that's all we could that's all we could do. It's like, man, I hope this guy can right the ship. And like every single time there's a convention or there's something that comes out in the news, for the first time since I've been slightly invested in the entire industry, like every time it comes out, I'm like, that's exactly the thing that they should be doing. That's exactly where they should be going. That's exactly the product that they should be releasing. And like, they 100%. Are a large company and they have the same issues that every large company has. But I feel like for the first time in a long time, like their heads are set on straight. They're talking to the people they need to be talking to, and they're listening to the fans that they should be listening to. And they're not going to please everybody every time, but like these are good things. Like having Luke Gygax come back is good. Margaret Weis is good. Tracy Hickman's good. I mean, again, I have a soft spot for Ari Salvatore because I like the Driss novels and I like all that stuff that I saw as a kid. All this stuff is great, and that kind of leads into the next thing I think Dad was going to bring up, which is the first Icon adventure. If you want to take it away,
Greyhawk, Crown of the Witch Queen. So before Forgotten Realms became my favorite playground, there was Greyhawk. We knew that Greyhawk was coming back. That's one of the things that they talked about with the release of the newly christened 5.5 ebooks, was that Greyhawk was going to be the setting. This is going to be the first Icons adventure. So I am pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be amazing. I haven't played in Greyhawk in years, just because I've gotten settled in with the Forgotten Realms. That's the setting that most everybody at all my tables is familiar with. But Greyhawk is a great place to play too. I mean, that's where Vecna started. That's where Tasha from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything started. There's just a lot of great things about Greyhawk to be explored. And I think the fact that they're kind of revitalizing that, they're going to bring out new maps and everything else is going to be awesome. Because if, my players and I talk about it and we discuss it, I'm like, hey, the Forgotten Realms have been great. Let's try something new, something none of us know anything about. I can put them in Greyhawk.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about Greyhawk. So
I think Greyhawk, obviously Dark Sun, and things like even Dragonlance are these settings that they have a lot of heritage and a lot of history. But a lot of newer players, and even not so new players, they just have never played there. Because by the time we got into the hobby, like when I got into the hobby as a kid, Forgotten Realms was it. Like, I mean, there were other things, but that was the big flagship setting that you played in.
That's the flagship setting. That's what they write all the books about. All the novels are based out of there. The video games have all been in the Forgotten Realms.
Yep.
I would like to see... I was really excited about the fact that Joe was talking about doing a Dragonlance series. I'm hoping against hope, maybe, that with him kind of in charge and with Dan Ayub's approval, maybe they do something like even an animated movie. I think would be.
I was going to say, I mean, with the times we live in, with like Vox Machina, like why not get a studio to make, like even if it is just a movie, like don't spend the entire time on seasons of a show. Do a movie, do a short film. Where you can kind of introduce people, what is Dark Sun? What is Dragonlance?
You could do shorts that are 10 to 15 minutes long that are kind of like serialized, like little chapters in a book, or even short stories. Put it on D&D Beyond.
100%.
You own D&D Beyond. Put it on D&D Beyond. Maybe the first 10 hits are free. Then you monetize them a little bit just to make a little bit of money to make sure you're recouping your expenses. And that's fine. If it's well done and it's written by somebody like Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman and maybe Joe Magnola, I'm 100% on board. I'll pay for it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, this might be kind of out of left field for people that haven't really watched Adult Swim in a long time. There's a show by, and I'm going to butcher this name, but Jindy Tartakovsky. So they made, they're the creator of Samurai Jack and Dexter's Laboratory, which you remember those. There is a show that Jindy made called Primal, and it is a show about a caveman. It is a very violent, very like dark. I mean, to me, like just look up pictures. I'll put a picture in the video.
Okay.
If you look at pictures of that, to me, that exact style, and the episodes of the show are like 15 minutes long. Like if they did a Dark Sun in this style and like the way, like the art style and how violent that show is on Adult Swim or on D&D Beyond. People that don't know what Dark Sun is are gonna watch that and go, "Oh my god, this is so sick!" Like in a way that like Vox Machina doesn't reach that same crowd because it is like that show can be violent, and that show can be funny, but like it's definitely a different demographic that it's looking for. Whereas something like this is like people that listened to heavy metal when they were kids and grew up, going to concerts and playing like video games like Gears of War. Like that's what this crowd is, and that's that's what Dark Sun is, and I think. The more they do these different settings that are less conventional, the more they need to reach outside of just doing books and player manuals for new settings. They should be doing shorts. They should be doing short films. They should be doing animated series, graphic novels. Why not do a graphic novel? You can make a graphic novel for like nothing and publish that.
Right.
Even electric ones. Put them on D&D Beyond. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, if you don't want to spend the money on animation, do graphic art. Just do
It's
some art with a
100%.
storyboard,
Yeah.
like a comic book. You know, I'd buy it. I mean, back in the day, in the 80s, they put out the Forgotten Realms comic book. It was a short-lived series, but it was a great series.
Mm.
It was a great series with great characters. A lot of fun to read. I would love to see a comic book for them, you know, or, you know, maybe a manga or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. That would be amazing. So this is just me in my nerd house, you know, guys, reliving the 80s and stuff where D&D was at its height. So let's talk about some other things that were announced at Gen Con. Major D&D Beyond updates are coming, amongst which they are going to have group finding boards where you can go on, find people in your area or people maybe not in your area if you want to connect with people electronically, where you can find dungeon masters looking for players, players looking for a dungeon master, people looking to add to their group. I think it's going to be great. There's other resources out there like this, but the fact that it's finally coming to the flagship to D&D, to WotC, is it's beyond overdue.
Mm.
But I'm glad to see that they're finally doing it. And again, I'm going to credit Dan with that. Um,
Yeah.
they're also going to have DM tools that are going to be specifically designed to help DMs.
Yeah.
They know that there's a shortage of dungeon masters out there. Everybody wants to be a player. Nobody wants the responsibility of a dungeon master because they feel like it's a lot of work. It can be, but it's rewarding. It's a lot of fun. So I encourage you, if you're not a DM, to try it out. Try your hand at it.
Mm-hmm.
These tools are going to help you to be more successful, to take some of that workload off of you. And I think it's a great thing. So looking forward to that. We know that with the return of Dark Sun and things like that, there's going to be more need for electronic tools and things. So I think this is going to be something that goes kind of hand in hand. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited to see where they go for it.
Yep.
But I'm going to let Steven talk about something I know he's pretty excited about that Gen Con announced.
Yeah. White Wolf officially announced the 6th edition of Vampire the Masquerade. Um,
Yep.
I must just be old because I feel like the 5th edition wasn't that old, but maybe I'm wrong.
Right.
I'll have to look it up.
Mhm.
But
I
they,
haven't played since second edition, so that
yeah.
tells you how long ago that was.
They've already launched their public alpha playtest on Demiplane. Um, 6th edition is being, or they're calling it V6. It's kind of like the marketing kind of buzzword there.
Nice.
It is from what I've read online, what I've read, not just Gen Con updates, but also like the Reddits and stuff for VTM. It is a substantial redesign. It is not like
Mhm.
5th edition was. They are
Right.
overhauling a lot. Um, and that seems to have upset some people and made other people happy. But it seems
Right.
like they kind of see that they want to streamline things that are just kind of they've kept things the way that they are for so long. They're trying to streamline some things to get new players in, which I understand. But
Right.
VTM's also like a very established, very niche tabletop game, so to like rock the boat too much might be a problem. But it is an alpha, so like these things can be tweaked and changed back or done
Right.
different things. Some of the key changes include they merged the resource system, which is the resource system has been kind of one of the things that makes getting into the game kind of harder for new players to keep track of and do things. There's different tracking mechanics. There's meta currencies called the Quickening, which is a player centric currency. And then there's all new drama metagame systems inside of the narrative design of the game.
Hmm.
A lot, I mean, again, most players online that I saw just think the game is becoming way too streamlined, way too gamey in the sense that it's becoming more like 5e.
Okay.
Um, Again, it's an alpha. It's a playtest. I think they're going to be able. I mean, VTM has always been pretty good about taking player feedback and kind of tweaking things back and forth. They're a lot more maneuverable in terms of what they do than a company like or not WizKids, but Wizards of the Coast with D&D. Kind of when
Mhm.
D&D ships, it just is that way for a while. They don't really
Right.
make pivots or change a lot, whereas smaller companies can still do that. Um, so, in my opinion, I think it's good that they continue the 6th edition. They continue to change things, shake things up a bit, keep VTM in the relative limelight, in the relative spotlight. It's never going to be as big as the others, but I think if we just leave things how they are, eventually the player base will dwindle down and die out because, that game is relatively crunchy, relatively. It's just a niche game. I mean, you wouldn't really
Right.
understand it until you play it. It's not you don't play D&D and then intuitively play VTM. It is just its own thing. It's very different. Whereas like games like D&D
I
and
like
Pathfinder have some crossover that you can kind of understand.
I
VTM is
like the
not.
fact that a lot of lore behind Vampire the
Oh, there's
Masquerade.
so much. Dude.
There are so many resources out there, both in print form and online, to support the game. I know when I played it, and it's been a number of years. I mean, I think the last time I played Vampire Masquerade was before Steven was born. So it was a fun game. I love the role playing. I love the fact we had a dungeon master or a game master who actually set our game so that our clan was based out of our hometown. And there was a prince of that city, and we basically, it was familiar settings, but now we're seeing them from different eyes. So it was pretty fun. There are live plays and playcasts online where some pretty popular people
Yeah, I'll
like
call
Mark
out.
Meir.
Yeah, Dropout
Yeah,
has live streams that they play.
yeah,
VTM.
Mark Meir, B. Dave Williams, a lot of people that you guys know from Dungeons and Dragons fame for playing live casts and being dungeon masters play these games. They play Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah,
So I know they were playing 5th edition. I'm sure that with 6th edition coming out, they'll be playing that too. So
yeah,
if it's something that interests you, by all means, look it up. Look up some of those live plays, watch it, listen to the play. If it's something that interests you, by all means, I suggest you check it out. Vampire Masquerade's a great game. And then you can go down the rabbit hole of Werewolf the Apocalypse, Hunter the Reckoning. There's so many different aspects to play in
yeah.
that
It's
game. And
it's
so many
wild. I
different,
mean, you like Wraith the Ascension. Or Mage the
yeah,
Ascension and I mean, there's so many games in the what's called the World of Darkness setting.
yeah,
And tons of aftermarket and third party support for those games. They're just they have a cult
lots of
following. I mean,
novels.
yeah, I mean
There's tons of novels out there for it.
the games just have a cult following. They always have.
Yeah.
So I'll say like one kind of a quick one sentence kind of takeaway for this. It looks like version 6, V6, 6th edition, whatever you want to call it. White Wolf is trying to make the game faster. They're trying to make it more accessible to new players, more action packed, and also still balance the more narrative driven character story arc design that they were kind of famous for. I mean, a lot of people think Daggerheart was the first TTRPG that included a
They
lot of
were.
narrative design. I mean, White Wolf and VTM has always been very narrative
Hmm.
forward. And what they're trying to
Right.
do is, if that's kind of daunting to a new player that's new to TTRPGs or the VTM setting in general, they're trying to make it also like D&D 5e. One thing it does well is action combat, right? That's what it does well.
Yeah.
So they're trying to add
Yeah.
that in to try to balance and bring more people in. I don't think that's inherently a bad thing. I am interested to
I
try
don't
the
think so either.
alpha, try some play testing, and see if I can give some feedback because I do want these games to succeed. I understand the older players that love things the way that they are. They've been playing this game for 15, 20 years. Dad understands better than anybody. Like your game changes, but the beauty of TTRPGs is if you don't like the new edition, play the old edition. Like
Or the old
it
one.
or homebrew something. I mean, it's like
There's so many people out there
the game
that
needs to
crap on
evolve.
D&D 5e
It's got to
and
evolve.
D&D 5.5, and they play what's called old school Renaissance. They play. You've got plenty of people out there online who are still playing games in first edition and second edition, and that's
Yeah.
fine. There are people that have taken pieces of each of them and made their own homebrew system. That's what Deathbringer is about from Professor Dungeon
Yeah,
Master,
that's like
which
the
had a
biggest
very
Kickstarter I've
successful
ever seen.
Kickstarter. It's a very successful Kickstarter, and he basically took old school elements, blended it with some 5e stuff and some of his homebrew content, kind of created his own game.
And it's gonna
That's
it's gonna
kind
be
of what this is
massive.
about. That's what this is about. Is even Gary Gygax in the first edition Dungeon Masters book said, this book is meant to be a guideline, not a set of. It's not a Bible. It's not a rule
It's
book or a law
guardrails.
book. You make your world the way you want. If a player wants to be a dragon, be a dragon. You want to play a kobold, play a kobold. If you want to be a vampire, be a vampire. Just play within the bounds of the game as the DM, and you agree. You don't get into a bunch of inter-party strife and stuff like that. You're supposed to work together as a party. That's part of the social contract. So yeah, I mean, play what you want. That's the whole beauty of these games. You could take a game, take rules, use what you want, throw out the rest, change them, whatever, make it your own. That's the beauty.
Yeah, I mean, I
of
feel
it.
like there's
So,
two ways to mess up a TTRPG, and it's to not have fun, and then to do things to prevent other people from having fun. Other than
yeah,
that, there are no, oops, you messed up, you didn't play right. Like, just have fun and allow others to have fun too. That's it. That's the
yeah,
rule.
yeah. Speaking of fun, I have read a lot of positive reviews online about Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm going to caveat this by saying Brand New Day, the comic book, was trash, and I hate Joe Quesada.
Yeah.
Fight me.
It is
Change
crazy
my
how many
mind.
people online are saying the same. I don't know anybody that has a good thing to say about him and his
No.
Spider-Man books ever.
Well, you know, he came on board as a writer for Marvel. He hated the Mary Jane Watson and Peter Parker marriage. So as soon as he became editor, he decided he was going to change it, and that's where Brand New Day came in. And basically, Mary Jane made a deal with the devil that everybody would forget after the Civil War that Peter Parker was Spider-Man to protect his identity because it almost got Aunt May killed, and the marriage was annulled. It was wiped from existence. The only person it remembered was Mary Jane. Um, I hate you, Joe Quesada. I hope all of your coffee tastes like horse piss. Um, and I feel very strongly about this if you couldn't tell. That's what got me, that's what made me, as a lifelong Spider Man fan, stop reading Spider Man books, was Brand New Day. But that being said, the movie sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's busting the box office all to pieces. It's got great reviews. I know people personally who've gone and seen it and said, you've got to go see it, Carl.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I know
I
people
will
on
probably
YouTube
give
that
it.
are more critical of Marvel than we are, which we try not to be too critical, but I
No,
mean, honestly, Marvel has done nothing to write home about for quite some time.
nope.
And people that swore off of Marvel, like Nerderotic, which I love his videos,
Yeah,
um, you know, he's like, yes, this movie's not perfect. This movie has issues. This movie has
of
the
course.
same kind of things Marvel Cinematic Universe has now, some of the same tropes, but this movie freaking rules. I'll be honest, you know, Tom Holland at first, I wasn't too
Yeah,
sure, and now I think he's an incredible Peter Parker. I
I,
think,
I think he's a great Peter
I
Parker.
mean, you know,
I,
there are, you know, I do have a little bit of Tom Holland fatigue. He's in everything. He's in every movie all the
he
time.
is.
He's kind of like the
Well,
new
he's a
Pedro
bit.
Pascal, and like he's in everything.
Oh, Pedro
But
Pascal. Also,
as Peter Parker, as Spider-Man, his character arc is believable from the Civil
yes.
War spot that he was in for a couple minutes, where he's very, you know, jovial and he's a little kid and he just doesn't understand the weight of what's going on. All the way
Right.
through, kind of Tony Stark mentoring him losing Tony Stark, then him losing
Yeah.
his friends. Nobody remembers him all the way through this. I mean, his arc is great. It's probably the best arc in Marvel since Iron Man.
Yeah.
And it just he's so believable and so relatable, and he's just I can't wait to see this movie. I haven't had a free
Yeah.
moment in so long, but as soon as I can, I'm either going to go to the theater or buy this the second I can and watch it. Um,
Yeah.
you know, Doomsday still has me worried, but I'm glad that
Though
stuff.
it's, did you see how many tickets it has sold
Oh,
pre-sale?
well, I mean, this is the big next Marvel thing
No,
since Endgame. I mean, you know, nobody gave a shit
the last
about.
I saw was 17 million or something, 17
Yeah,
million plus in
it's
pre-sales.
gonna crush. I mean, because like obviously Spider-Man and like the Thunderbolts are like kind of the rare W's in Marvel, and
Hmm.
then you know other than that it's been stinkers. I mean, nobody cares about Ant-Man. Who cares about Paul Rudd Ant-Man? Who cares about Quantum Mania? Nobody cares. Like we had.
Ant-Man is he's a great team player.
He is, but like
In
solo movies and your enemy
In
is
Civil War, he
Kang.
was
Like
great. But Ant-Man never did well as a solo hero in comics. Why
yeah.
would you think he would do well as a solo movie?
Yeah, and
But
it's like
you know,
Paul Rudd. I mean, he's a fine actor. He seems good, but like
yeah,
he's playing the same, like he's like doing what Daredevil does, but not as good. Like he has these quirky
yeah,
one-liners, and he's funny, and he's joking around, and it's like, dude,
yeah.
Daredevil's just infinitely, or not Daredevil, sorry, Deadpool is
Yeah,
infinitely
Deadpool's
better at
yeah,
that whole shtick than Ant Man is. And like, you'll
yeah.
never convince me that Ant Man beats Kang the Conqueror in one-on-one fighting ever. Like that whole movie,
No,
it's like, oh, Quantum Mania, he beats Kang the Conqueror. Like, no, he doesn't. Not ever in
no,
a
he doesn't.
million years would he. And
No,
it's just,
not
I
ever.
don't know, I mean, in every other movie, in the Marvel movies, don't even get me, the Miss Marvel movies or whatever, were just utter garbage. And, you know, it's just, I was so glad to hear, like, Spider Man is crushing. He's doing well. Every movie has been good. This one is no
And
exception.
I think the reason that Spider-Man is doing well is it takes it back from the galactic level,
And
which is
comes
so
down.
huge
Friendly neighborhood.
with so many players,
Yeah.
and it brings it back to Earth,
Hmm.
and it's one hero, a young man, very young, very inexperienced, out there trying to do good with his powers,
Yeah.
and he's fighting the good fight daily in the streets of Manhattan. I
Yeah.
think that's amazing. I think that's where, to me, Spider-Man belongs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want him for name brand recognition. You want him in Marvel movies like Civil War. the upcoming Secret Wars, which are going to spin off, I understand, from Doomsday. That's fine. But Spider-Man to me is always going to be web swinging through Manhattan, through New York City. He's going to be stopping criminals and webbing them up, waiting for the cops to come get them. He's the guy that's helping, they're the street level heroes. That's why I like Daredevil. That's why I like the Defenders and Luke Cage and Iron Fist and all of them, because they're down there in the trenches helping the average person. They're not off saving the world every time they open the door. And I think that's part of the appeal of Spider-Man. So.
Yeah, I think it's great. I love the very high scale, like, oh, everything is, all reality is gonna blow up if we don't do this. Avengers did that well. Avengers did it fine. It was fun, but like I'm ready for like more grounded, more relatable hero stories because they're just more fun. And the Fantastic Four obviously was another big giant Galactus is going to eat the Earth thing, which I get it. It's Fantastic Four. You have to do Galactus. I understand.
Right.
I am ready for more, and like, of course, Doomsday's not going to give that to us. They're hyping this up like it is the end of everything. I mean, okay.
Right.
I'm just ready for more grounded stuff. I wish the Defenders would have more love. I thought, I love Luke Cage. I love the actor that plays him. I love his story. I would love more Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Daredevil, stuff like that. I mean, I can't believe that they didn't get Blade to work. I mean, I don't understand how we cannot have a Blade show or a movie. It's so mind-boggling to me that they can't figure it out.
Especially when Marvel has its own streaming service. That's the perfect platform for a Blade series.
It's so weird. Like, it's so strange.
Tell me you can't put Blade on TV if you had the Punisher on there shooting people in the face.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand where they can't. I mean, all they keep saying is, "Oh, we couldn't make it work." How? Like, the actor looked good. He had the voice when he was in the Eternal. Like,
he's been enthusiastic for years to play.
That's all he's wanted. It's all he's talked about. And like, and then it's like you have him talk
and he walked away. He's gotten frustrated.
He's done. No, I mean, it's I think they've announced that it's officially dead. Like, there's not going to be a Blade movie or reboot or a show or anything. And like, I literally can't believe it. Like, they're making Eternals 2, but you can't make a Blade show. Like, what is happening?
And Eternals, I mean, Eternals was fine, but I wasn't super excited about Eternals.
The coolest thing about Eternals was the scene where Arishem or whoever the Celestial came, like, you saw him warp in and all the clouds moved and he was huge. That was like a very cool cosmic like level scene. That was like, whoa, like
that's very Jack Kirby 1960 Silver Age Marvel with the Celestials coming in being bigger than life.
Yeah, that was cool. And like that was before, I think, Endgame and all that. So like we hadn't seen like the full Infinity Gauntlet yet and all that cool stuff. So like that was like the big first, like, wow, Earth and like all its heroes are this tiny, compared to this existential threat. And then Endgame happened, so it's like, I'm ready to get back to the more relatable stuff. I want to see Spider-Man fight. I want to see Tom Holland Spider-Man fight like Lizard or fight somebody like that. I want to see that stuff.
Or Sandman.
The only thing I feel like people are complaining about is like Tombstone is in this movie, but he's only in the beginning montage. Like he's like Spider-Man's fighting in the beginning of this movie, and it's like he's going through this montage of him fighting for like the last year. And since he doesn't have any friends or anything, he's like spending a lot of time being Spider-Man. So it's like he's getting very good. And it's like Tombstone is just like a passing enemy that he beats up. And it's like, dude, Tombstone, like the comic book Tombstone was terrifying. Like he was terrifying.
He kills people. He's a monster.
So I don't know. I mean, it might have the same like shades of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 where it's like there's so many villains, like, but I still think this movie's great. I still think everybody should go see it because Doomsday's got me worried and I really want Marvel to do good things. So
I do too. So let's talk a little bit about some extra loot. I know Steven is itching to talk about the new MTG Hobbit release, which is coming out.
Yep, in literally a few hours from now will be Friday, and the Hobbit Magic the Gathering set will be out. Just talking about all these crossover events in D&D, Wizards is even calling those universes beyond the world of the. So you see kind of the same business model from Magic going into D&D, which you can argue is good or bad. I argue, everything can be good or bad. I think don't let FOMO take over your life and feel like you have to buy everything just because it's a universes beyond. I know there's some investment opportunities there. I wish I bought a bunch more of the original Lord of the Rings one because they're selling for crazy money right now.
They really are.
But I did get some Hobbit tacks. I'm gonna go try to get more tomorrow at my local game store. I'm excited because I love Lord of the Rings, and I'm not loving how expensive a lot of the cards are. Like the Golden Smog, there's like 500 in the world. at Gen Con. I think one of the game
And
stores,
one just sold for how much?
25K. They put a bounty on the card like at Gen Con, and somebody pulled it and sold it. That
Paid for
is.
the whole Gen Con trip and then some.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun and cool to hear stories like that, but like the fact that
Yeah.
packs are, instead of $7, they're $10, and the collector boosters, instead of $25, they are $80, $90, $100. Um, I don't know if that's an attempt to slow down purchases or scalpers and let people get more of them. But, for me, it's like I really wanted to buy a bunch of these after I missed out a lot on the original Lord of the Rings set, and I'm not going to be able to afford to buy a bunch. I'm going to buy as much as I can. I'm excited, but, this kind of is probably going to be a longer form post, maybe on the website, or maybe we'll talk about it some other time, about drop culture and about how much I
Yeah.
think it's just forming just either A, unhealthy financial habits, or B, it's just causing more and more people to not buy things that they would have.
Not they're priced out of the hobby.
Yeah, it's like they can't afford it. And like Kickstarter, I think, does a really good job at managing like some things, where at the same time, like I see a Kickstarter and it's like, oh, you got to buy this, this, and this, and you got to buy it before today or it's never coming back. And it's like just predatory, like FOMO stuff. And like to see like that happening in like Magic the Gathering. And I'm hoping it doesn't come into D&D in terms of like these Universes Beyond expansions. Like if they came out tomorrow and were like, there's only 1,000 of the Star Wars player manual, like I'm gonna lose my mind. So anyway, I don't want to get too negative. I'm excited for the Hobbit set. I'll if I get anything cool, I'll post shorts of me opening them on the YouTube channel. I love Lord of the Rings, so I'm just gonna ignore my annoyance at just the price gouging right now and buy them anyway. The next one's gonna be Star Trek. I initially was excited for that one. I think there is one original Magic set between these two, and then Star Trek. But I was excited initially, and then I saw some of the art was literally just screen grabs from the movie. Like they're not even original art; it's just a screen grab of like a clip. And I was like, "Oh my god! Like, come on!" Like one of the cards literally has Benedict Cumberbatch on it. Like literally, just his
that's
character.
what you're talking about. Is we're now don't want to pay artists, so we can up our profit margin on these cards. So we just pay Paramount to have access to these older movies, so we could grab screen.
Yeah, so they're like, and they did the same thing with like the Avatar, the Airbender set, where they just pulled images from the animated series, and like everyone hated them. And it's like, what? You had so many cool opportunities, and I think there are some very cool Star Wars or Star Trek like arts. Like one of them is Captain Kirk, and it's done up like a comic book. It looks really, really good. But then there's other ones where it's like, what the hell? So luckily, Lord of the Rings doesn't have any of those. The Hobbit set, the art is beautiful. The book cover cards are insanely awesome. I'll put some pictures up in the video. And but yeah, it's coming out tomorrow, so be on the lookout. If I get anything cool, I will share it on YouTube.
Fantastic. Look forward to it. Any final thoughts for us tonight, Steve?
I'm good. Helldivers 2 just dropped like the coolest update of all time, so that's a thought for you.
Holy cow! Yeah, we just played that before we podcasted, so we got beat around on a Illuminat planet. So if you're a Helldivers fan, the new Warhammer 40K Warbond is awesome.
Dude, I mean, also like what a W that they dropped a 40K themed Warbond. Like that's so sick. I mean, that is. I mean, I take a moment to be like, yes, is that game perfect? No. Is that game annoying sometimes? No. Yes. Is Arrowhead a perfect company? No. But also, they were like, let's make a Warhammer 40K themed Warbond and put it into the game. It's so sick. And like,
I just unlocked the bolter pistols. I'm pretty excited about.
Well, and like in the game itself, like all the more NPC soldiers that drop with you now, like the biggest change to me, how great. I mean, the new enemies are terrifying. Like they're basically Dead Space. They're like Dead Space. Yeah, they're like Resident Evil, Dead Space, like body horror, alien freak monsters. It's awful. It kind of feels like a horror game when you play now, at least on the Illuminati planets. But just the extra reinforcements that are dropping it, you actually feel like you're in a war now. Like, but whereas before you kind of always felt like you were behind enemy lines. It's just 4v versus everybody, and occasionally you would see people. And now it's like you drop in, there's like 30 guys fighting already, and you're kind of coming in to help them. It feels like Saving Private Ryan in space.
Overrun, you get a communication from the destroyer. Hey, high level of enemies in your area. Sea response team on their way.
Yeah, and like there's just
Pelicans dropping in.
Yeah,
and 20 freaking Sea soldiers pour off the back end.
I mean, to me, it's like the fact that this game exists now, and it's like It's usually on sale. All the updates, I mean, the war bonds you have to earn with credits, or you can buy them if you want. But all the updates are free. Like, this is a major update that came out. It's just free, and it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, this game, like, if it came out 10 years ago, it would have been like game of the decade. Like, I mean, it's just,
Oh yeah.
it is unbelievable how good this game is. And I know it's not perfect, and people on Reddit crap all over it, but like, the game is so good. If this was a
It's
Halo
fun.
game, everyone would freak out.
Yeah.
Like, everyone would
It's
freak out.
fun. It's team cooperative, or you can play it solo. Solo's fine. I've played some missions solo, but I prefer team co-op. It's a lot more fun. Try it out. Let us know what
It's
you
so
think.
good, man.
Drop something down in the comments. But we're going to leave you with that for tonight. We thank you for staying with us. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Share this with friends. Share it on the internet. Get us out there. We'd love to have some more people stop by and check us out and get some engagement down in the comments from you guys. So we'll leave you with that for the night. Happy Thursday night. Looking forward to the weekend. Play some Helldivers and play some games. So get out there and have some fun. Spend some time with your family and loved ones. Be good to each other. And we'll see you back here next time in the maze. Good night, everybody.
Take care.